morning, guys. I'm MixMastaPJ, and this is Skater Die 2 for the NES. But I know what you're really here for. It's to hear this awesome theme song, so let me start it over for you. Most of the budget in this game was put towards the music, so it's only fair that we celebrated a little bit here. This game is kind of ridiculous. It's got an even more ludicrous story than you'd expect, so we're going to fill you in with the cutscenes as opposed to just playing the any percent run. So when we get started here, you'll get to see all the background information they give us and some wonderful 2D sprites. Playing on an original NES controller, however, we modified it a bit to celebrate PACE Fall 2023. That's the one that won in the Discord poll. This is my third GSA event, or my fourth GSA event, rather. So we had a couple other controllers that did not quite win, but they're still awesome and wanted to showcase them to you guys. So feel free to check those out in the Discord if you're not a part of that yet. Go ahead and give it a join. But we'll go ahead and get started here. I'll give you want to give me a countdown? Or? All right, sounds good. We'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is not like Skater Die 1. Skater Die 1 was kind of like a little Olympic-style thing where you went around and did a bunch of silly events and scored a bunch of points, and it was a lot of fun. This game is way more punishing as far as the controls go and the platforming aspect. There's kind of like a story to it. So you can see some of the characters here, Rodney and Lester. Rodney gives us skateboards. Lester teaches us tricks. We're going to avoid Lester. He doesn't really help us in the speedrun aspect. CJ, that might be some Disney copyright infringement there, but she's one of our pals. Looking a lot like Ariel. And then Ice Pick. He is our villain. I don't know if he's a skateboarder or not. He seems to want to pick fights with all the skateboarders who are typically a little bit more united, so we'll try and see what he's about. And that's us. That was you. You didn't know that was you, but that's you, our hero. So let's get a little background on what's going on in town. So it's another beautiful day in the quiet town of Elwood. Perfect weather for the mayor's wife to take her poodle Fifi for a nice walk. Oh no, then the music gets serious. That's because it's also nice for you to take your board out. Wonderful 4-frame GIF there for some serious sidewalk shredding. This is great. Clean streets, excellent weather. Can it get better than this? Oh, look, Fifi. The antique store is having a sale. Uh-oh. Trigger warning coming up on animal violence. Hey, Poser, where'd you learn to ride? Uh-oh. Ice Pick is distracting us. Also, he doesn't know how to spell Poser. We clearly are alarmed here. Or maybe you are. Maybe this is all your fault. Buzz off, Ice Pick. Who are you calling Poser? Oh, no. It's tough. It's real tough. Fifi! Later in the mayor's office. Yes, dear, I know, dear. Apologize for the early tough thing there. There's not an entry on doesthedogdie.com for Skater Die 2, but we probably should make one. And as you can see, the mayor has banned skateboarding as a result. It is quite the major bummer. All right, so these are the times that try the Skater Soul, Aggro Eddie. We don't know who Aggro Eddie is. I actually don't. It might be one of these NPCs that we see here. But this is Rodney. He's going to try and hook us up with a skateboard, and we're going to fight back against the mayor's wife to hope reinstate it. Also, the mayor banned skateboarding. Check out what you see here. I'm skateboarding just fine. No one's stopping me. There's going to be a lot of other people skateboarding, and no one's stopping them. We're going to go pick up some fries because the currency in this game is french fries, tacos, CDs, and tapes. So when Rodney comes up to us to offer us a skateboard here in about 20 seconds total, we're going to need to pay for it. So the first board we want to get is the Slipstream board. That's going to make us go a little bit faster, but not quite fast enough for the speed run. So he's going to bounce off the wall here, and then we're going to get another skateboard. This time we're going to grab the rocket board. And that's it. That's the last encounter we're going to have with Rodney, hopefully. If we bump into him on later levels, it will spawn the little cut screen there, and then we'll have to talk to him and decline the next skateboard. But this is the fastest skateboard we can buy. We're not really interested in the fancy one that can jump higher or do tricks or anything like that because it doesn't really actually speed up the run at all. But this one substantially speeds up what we're able to do. So we take that little underworld area because just like in Mario 1, it's faster than staying in the overworld. We're going to cut down here, and we're going to shoot the mayor's wife with a paintball gun, I think. I think that's what this is supposed to be, but it's an NES, so they're doing the best they can. Same sprite as before, but now we got a nice little sunrise. Time to jam on down to the local half-pipe. I guess this is the next day. But what's this? What has happened to our half-pipe? This can't be happening. I also love how it's just a random like photograph of a bulldozer just sliding across the screen. The mayor says you kids ain't got no official building permit. And according to City Building Code 13.1689.04, Bylaw 86, subsection 5A, it has hereby been condemned as unsuitable for public usage. Oh man, that frown. But what'll we do? Get a new city building permit. Yeah, because then they'll have to rebuild the entire half-pipe. Also, by the way, permits cost bucks. We don't have bucks. We got fries and tacos and CDs. This is wasteland. Like, it doesn't look like a half-pipe was destroyed. It looks like a city was leveled. Alright, so the gang is a little upset. Skateboarding is on the decline in Elwood. But that's alright. We're going to try and pool our money here together and see what we got. So later that day, we got CJ. Maybe that's Aggro Eddie. I don't know. They don't tell us who that is. $8.30. That is more than what I have in my pocket right now, so that's pretty good. It doesn't look good as building a new half-pipe or getting a permit for one. Ooh, some uplifting music. Wait a minute, Mr. Jenkins down at the mall always has some delivery jobs available. Malls, what are they? Jeez, 30-some years ago, they were really hopping, though. We could earn the money in no time. A most excellent idea, CJ. Let's go. All right, so look at Mr. Jenkins, man. He's had a lot of cups of coffee. Like I said, you make all these deliveries and you get paid at the end of the day. So don't dawdle about. There might be some bonuses in it for you along the way. For your first delivery, take this package to Wormhouse Records. Did every like guy who worked at a mall just have like a comb over and like crazy eyes like that? All right, so what we're going to do in this level is we're going to make a bunch of deliveries. First thing we have to do is take one to the record store. You guys are going to see here that this mall has some, they take some liberties with some of the store names. Some of them get a little silly. But we have to make 12 deliveries here. So we're going to take the first one here to the record store. But what's interesting is that the route for this is kind of half RNG, half not. And what I mean by that is I think initially they had planned for making like a hard-coded route that you had to go first stop here, second stop here, third stop here, etc. And then they realized, oh, you know what we could do? We can make it random, so it's not the same one every time. But they didn't delete the old code for all the places. So as a result, you have some things that can get delivered like way out of order. So for example, right now I have to take this to Floorshine Shoes because that's what it says there on the bottom. But I could take it to Rhinestone Jewelers if that were closer. So I kind of have like both options available to me. So this one's got to go to the pizza shop. There's not an alternate delivery for this one, but there is for the next one. So we're going to watch kind of how that sync is playing out, and then whatever is closer to us at that given time, we're going to pick one of those two options. It may be the one the game is kind of advertising us to go to, but we may choose whichever one is kind of the hardwired route. So we can take this to the movie theater, or we can take this to Wumpus World. And Wumpus World might just be a little bit closer. So even though, yeah, it's right there. So even though we were supposed to take that all the way downstairs, all the way to the middle of the mall where the movie theater is, that old glitch, the hardwired route that we're not really supposed to know about still worked. Now, the police officer there, he does, he causes us some harm, but also causes us some good there. The first time he gives us a warning. But if we bump into him again, I shouldn't say police officer, he's probably mall security, let's be real. Probably some high schooler on a power trip. He will move us to one side of the mall or the other, which can actually be useful sometimes. Like if you're on the middle of a route, like almost to your destination, yeah, that can be a pain to have to like go back to the escalator. But sometimes, like if you have to make a really long travel, bumping into the police officer can do you a lot of good. So that time is not so good, but because it moved us all the way over to the other side of where we were trying to get to. So you really want to bump into him right at the beginning of whenever you're leaving somewhere, but that's okay. We'll be all right. So we're going to head on down here up to the bookstore. Like I said, some pretty hilarious store names, especially in the upper floor. They really go all out with all the restaurant names. So we're going to go back to Pizza by the Ton, and that's a little bit faster if we go this way. Actually, we can take the other way. It's even even quicker. Let's see if we can... Yep, we're going to use the glitch here again, and this time we're going to go to Stiller's Outpost, as opposed to going all the way to the pizza shop. If we can just dodge the security guard. All right, there we go. All right, so then we'll go to the Nut House, Williams Nut House. Right next to Kafka's Candies, on the second floor, naturally. The guy's throwing firecrackers inside the mall. Police officer still going after me instead of him. That's just how it goes, right? All right, there we go. Oh, we just missed it. Oh, it's okay. We got sent. We're still on the same floor and same side of the mall. We don't want to hit him here, though. Okay. Avoid the security guard. Get to our destination, and let's get to the record store. Ooh, can we get a shortcut there? That worked out pretty good. That was a nice little warp to the left side of the screen. We don't want to hit him there. So off to the record store here, and then we got one more delivery to make. And we'll have our money to get the building permit. All right, so we got to get to the clothing store. Tall, stout, and deformed clothes. Oh, look at that warp. That was perfect. It took us right here to the edge. That was a really fast split. All right, sweet. So we got done all the deliveries, and now we got our money from Mr. Jenkins for doing all the deliveries, and now you can see Rodney is at work. He's designing the half pipe that we're going to build. How are these new plans coming along? Couldn't be better. This will be the raddest, baddest, most totally insane half pipe you've ever seen. And then Rodney looks like a young, hip dude. He does have a son that's like a teenager, so he's been around the scene for a long time. He does have a little bit of a pest problem, but that's all right. And then typical 90s comedy. Flip the light switch so we can see him a little bit better. No, you turned on the fan, silly. And of course, the windows open at the same time, so the plans all go out the window. Like I said, this is really deep story writing here. So we were on the city streets to go fight the mayor's wife with a paintball gun. Then we went to the mall so we could make some deliveries. Now we're going to go on the beach to pick up some half-pipe plans. Too clever is stupid, dude. All right, so we got to pick up 16 of these little pieces of paper amongst these annoying birds and crabs. All right, there goes Lester. We don't need to talk to him. We don't need to learn any new tricks. But we're going to avoid those 2 pieces of paper for now because they're unattainable in their current location. We need the wind blow just like that. And we got that. We'll turn this kick turn back on. Sweet. And now we need this other piece of paper to blow, so we can pray to RNGesus here a little bit and control the weather. And in the Skater Die 2 universe here, if Electronic Arts could make the wind blow, thank you very much. Answered our pleas on this Tuesday morning. All right, there we go. Making the big jump there. We got 12 papers to go. There's a couple other random ones that are in some weird spots. If you hit like a grain of sand, you can fall down and lose some health. But they do give you health back every time you pick up a piece of paper. So we're going to watch out for these bodybuilders just flexing. Yeah, I can say there that we hit 1 grain of sand a little too early. It's not really going to hurt us too bad here because there are a couple papers a little bit later that are also trapped kind of in unattainable areas, and we end up waiting for those anyway. So if we take a little bit longer down here, it doesn't typically hurt us. It just means those papers over there will probably be in a reachable spot this next time, which is nice. All right, so that paper's gone. That's good. It means it's blown over here to somewhere we can get it. Oh, nope, just moved away the last second. That's fine. We can get this one with the kick turn. That's the one trick that we do use the most, and we start the game with it, so we don't have to talk to Lester about it. So that's nice. We'll be abusing it a lot in the next level, which is possibly one of the hardest levels in the NES game, in the NES universe. Just really unfair map design and really, really tough, and probably scared most people away from ever beating this game. But I'll show you guys how to do it. It's not that bad. All right, so there's one of the papers in the unattainable locations we'd have to wait for anyway, just like that one. And there we go. So now we've got these 2 papers left over. And we just need them to blow out of the sand here. So, come on. Let's go. Give me some wind. We have yet to, in the community of Skater Die 2, figure out how to manipulate the RNG to control the weather. I'm willing to bet that it's probably easier than controlling the real weather, but I don't know which one's going to be discovered first. All right, perfect. We got that last piece of paper there. We can go grab it. And we are off the beach. And we're entering the last level. We are headed to the warehouse here. All right, looks like everything's in order, miss. CJ has got all the plans. She got the money. She's down at City Hall. She's got the permit. well, here's your new ramp permit. Happy skating. So it looks to be like this is going to be the conclusion of the game. But then something happens. It looks like it's just going to be too easy here, right? It looks like this is going to be ending. Oh, no. What's up, CJ? What you got there? Take a hike, Ice Pick. It's none of your business. That wouldn't be that permit you posers are trying to get, is it? Now, like I said, if he is a skateboarder, wouldn't he also want the ramp to be rebuilt? Does he just go around messing with the skateboarders? I don't know, but he wants to take the permit from CJ, and CJ has some other plans. Uh-oh. And for the second time, a main character is hit with a paintball to the face. But CJ has been apprehended by the villains, and we now have to search and rescue her from this gigantic warehouse. I'm not underestimating it. Gigantic is really the way to do it. The way to describe this. This warehouse is 8 rooms by 8 rooms, so it's 64 grid square, 4 floors tall, so 256 rooms total. Like an absolute absurd map for an NES game. Just an unbelievable amount of memory required for this thing. Additionally, unlike real buildings, not all the areas of the map connect together. And what I mean by that is there's sections of the first floor that are unattainable from the entrance. Like you have to go up to the second or third or fourth floors and then snake back down to the third. Like there's not doorways to everywhere. It's not a perfect accessible grid, which is just unbelievable to think about, that someone would assemble such a punishing building. It was like almost like this dungeon was put together just for this purpose, to eventually be, to trap a kidnapped victim somewhere. So we actually have to do 2 things inside here. First thing we have to do is we have to go to the left side of this map where we're at right now, snake up to the 4th floor, then back down to the 1st floor, and then back up to the 2nd floor through a bunch of areas that are unreachable otherwise, to grab the permit. So they hid the permit in this really obscure location. And then we have to trace our steps back all the way to the entrance, because then we have to take the right path to go up to the 4th floor, back to the 1st floor, back up to the 4th floor, just to find and rescue CJ and fight Ice Pick on the roof of the building. So it is quite a long quest here. The music's at least good. The enemies are kind of tough. And but if you were a player playing this game without VGMaps.com, shout out to them. They made a really awesome illustration of what this level looks like. Then you were probably either drawing on graph paper, or you were trying to use clues as looking for the amount of enemies that were on the screen, and the more that were there, that meant you were kind of on the right track. So if the path ever forked, you'd want to go to the place where there were more enemies, because that would at least lead you in the right direction. Now, obviously, when you're tracing back your steps, you have to reverse that plan. But as you can see there, we leave the elevator. If there were no enemies in this room at all, that would be a clue that, oh, wait a sec, we're probably going the wrong way. So as long as we keep seeing people like this, we know we're on the right path. We do have to watch our health a little bit, though, but once we get the permit, it will give us a ton. So we'll be okay here. And then we've now snaked back up to the 2nd floor. The floors are color-coded. The 1st floor is white, the 2nd floor is green, the 3rd floor is blue, and the 4th floor is red. And there's our permit. All right, we're not really halfway done our quest, because we got to trace back our steps to get back to the entrance here to take the right path. But at least we have we've gotten one of the 2 things here that we planned on doing, which was the permit. Now we got to go rescue CJ. So we're going to snake back out of here and find our way back to where we need to. Back this way. There we go. You can duck to avoid their attacks there, but it does slow you down a good bit. You can't accelerate then. One interesting trick that's been worked on the past year or so has been people trying to do some elevator glitches. I tried to do one there. It didn't quite work out. But what you can try to do is the 180 kick turn trick just as you're about to enter the elevator and do a jump. And if you do it correctly, it will put you in the elevator facing the left direction instead of the right direction, which saves you from having to do this kick turn up here. So every single one of those successful little jumps saves about 2 seconds or so. So the most recent world record was set about a week ago. There were 2 runs that were submitted in the last week that knocked it down a couple more seconds. So shout out to Sean Anomaly and Flux Dreamcaster. They are constantly grinding this game down. I was a lucky guy who got the world record a few years back, and since then it's been really an awesome show to watch those guys put more and more effort in this game. So I like doing cutscene percent for sure, because I think like everything about this game is hilarious, but those guys are the ones putting in a whole lot of labor as far as the any percent grind goes. They're also looking to do some new categories with 100% and perhaps permit last. where you save CJ first and then you go get the permit. So this game's just getting new life brought into it, so I'm really glad I could showcase it here for you guys today. All right, we got a snake back down at the beginning. I had to get a little health pack there because we don't have one for a while, and it's just better safe than sorry here. So we're going to go up. Try to do a kick turn to dodge that shot. Didn't quite work. And then we'll do the kick turn here so that we can just go down and right faster and get to our down elevator and go back to floor 2. There we go. We got a kick turn doorway glitch too. It saved a lot of time. Especially, it probably saved some health too because we didn't have to worry about getting shot as we were doing the kick turn there. All right, so we're now back at the beginning. And this time we're going to take the right path. Another little kick turn elevator glitch, save some time. Take every frame we can in this level when you got so many of them, right? All right. Oh, that one didn't work. That is also a funny little side effect. It's sometimes falling down the elevator shaft. All right, so Ice Pick that we're coming up to here in a sec. He's not that bad of a boss. You can kind of hide in the corner and keep shooting at him, but that's not the fastest way to do it. The fastest way is to kind of stay like at the same level he is, and as soon as he dashes at you to do a kick turn, and you're just going to have to hit him with the paintball like 14 times, I think. So we're just going to try and set up for a nice spot there with a decent amount of health to kind of take him out. All things considered, this level is challenging in that it's a giant maze and that it's long, but I don't think necessarily that it's necessarily like hard. I think by far the trickier levels, like the beach and stuff like that, where you don't have as many opportunities to grab health, and you're kind of racing against the clock with RNG there. Now we do have some time limit here that we're paying attention to. I believe that the timer in the upper left gets to 20 minutes, although I haven't seen that happen. That we do have to say that like CJ was captured and ran away. So we were watching our health and we are watching the clock a little bit here, but it's not nearly as pressing as it is in the beach. So we're gonna go back. Went back to floor 1. We're snaking all around all over the place here. So I went up to floor 4, and then we're going back to floor 1, and then we'll start our climb to the top to the roof. We'll grab another health pack here just before the up elevator. But you can just see how long this quest is. I mean, it's not like it's truly like a grid where everything's accessible, but you can see now we're starting to get a lot of the 2 and 3 bad guy rooms. Oh no, didn't want to get hit there. There we go. Let's go up here, and you can see this is not on the main path. They don't put any enemies in here, but it's because it's going to a health pack. This was typically a game that you rented at Blockbuster and did not beat that weekend and did not play again. There is a neat little ramp, though, that once you beat the game, you're able to actually practice on. So I'm excited to show you guys that part. That part, if anyone did happen to beat the game, was accessible from the title screen. But it was a way more sophisticated half-pipe than the ones in Skater Die 1, so that was a really cool thing for people to see, but it wasn't necessarily quite as deep as like the pool and the jousting part and the high jump and a lot of the other Skater Die events that people are used to from Skater Die 1. That definitely has a little bit more of a following to it. There's way more runners of that game than this game, mostly because of just how punishing the platforming aspect is. But I implore people to try it, because I think this game has a lot to offer. Sean and Flux have put a lot of work into making the game way more accessible to people who are learning it for the first time, with a lot of resources there. So if you're looking for an NES game to try that's just got some hilarious 90s feel to it, this is like one of the best ones, I would imagine. Unless you're picking like one of the licensed like game show or TV show ones, like this is about as 90s as it can get for an original theme anyhow, besides the music and just the aesthetic of it all. So we're going to go to the last couple rooms of the warehouse here, and we're going to go to the roof and fight Ice Pick. It's a pretty quick fight. Time is going to happen when we see the speech bubble above his head. So get ready on that, and here we are. You can see CJ's over there tied up in the corner. And I wouldn't do you guys dirty. You got to see the credits cutscene too, so we'll see that as soon as we take care of Ice Pick here. Almost, oh, that would have been awesome to shoot him in the back of the head there for the lethal shot. There we go, and time is now. There we go. That's Skater Die 2, guys. Awesome skating. Have you got the permit? Right here. Now let's get out of here and get to work on that ramp. All right, let's see this thing. It better be awesome for all that work we just put in. As night falls in the quiet town of Elwood. Is this day 2? Is this literally like a 36-hour experience? In the morning it got banned to like they built the whole new half pipe. That drill gif is pretty nice though. It's finally done. Congratulations, you successfully completed the Double Trouble half pipe. Thanks to you, skateheads all over Elwood, rejoice. All right. And then we get the credits. We get some fireworks here. One thing I was unaware of, I thought this was just like a loop and it would go on and on forever because I do play the credits like 3 or 4 times, but this song is just like 7 minutes long. And when the song actually ends, it cuts away to the half pipe. So we can go see it real quick. Just press start to skip through this. And you can see this half pipe is way cooler than all the half pipes in Skater Die 1. Now, I am not one of those Twin Galaxy level like super duper stars on this half pipe. It's scoring a ton of points. That's probably something I'll have to really put some time into later. But the animations for the crashes I always found were really funny. So we'll do a couple more of those. Maybe fall off the side here or something. But yeah, that's Skater Die 2. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I'm really glad I could showcase this game to you guys and be a part of PACE and GSA for a 4th time. Up next, we've got Magus over here getting ready and getting loaded up, so I want to make sure that we get back on schedule with that. But I appreciate you guys watching. I stream NES games on my Twitch channel all the time, and enjoy the rest of the marathon. Thanks so much for having me.